Hello and welcome to the Take Back Your Energy Summit. I'm your host, Karen Praisner, and today our guest is Reverend Dr. Louise Diana. She is a speaker, teacher, a trainer, a retreat leader. She's a yoga therapist, a hypnotherapist, and an ordained Science of Mind minister. Welcome. Nice to have you here today, Reverend Doctor.
Well, it's really wonderful to be with you, Karen. I'm really happy I got here. I just came back from a yoga class, teaching my students all morning. So life is good.
Good, great. What kind of yoga do you teach?
I teach an amalgam of different practices. I've been doing this for 39 years, so I've come up with my own style that's introspective and lively and challenging on the body. But I've had wonderful teachers over the course of my lifetime, Patabi Joyce and Mr. Iyengar, and just quite a journey I've been on.
Great. So your practice, I don't know if this is your yoga practice you call this, but Inner Fitness, is your yoga part of Inner Fitness, or is that what you call it?
It is. The name of my company is Inner Fitness, and it combines the body, mind, spirit dynamic. And each part of that branch, if you will, is another facet and another part of ourselves. The yoga takes care of your body. Meditation and hypnosis takes care of your mind. And I get to do the best job in the world, and that's marry people after I've helped them figure out their lives.
Wow, great. Do you work with couples?
I do, yes. It's great. It's wonderful. It's one of the best parts of my business is when I see two people make a commitment to themselves and walk down the aisle. I feel it's a privilege and it's an honor to be a part of that journey with them.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you. So today our subject is stress.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
that ongoing feeling of being out of order. So I've been talking about stress for a long time now. I've accumulated quite a bit of data on it over the years. And if you will, I'll break it down a little bit for your audience so they can maybe take something from this talk and bring it into their life and change at least one thing that will decrease it. Yeah. There's the outer stress that we all experience every day. Just the getting up and getting yourself functioning and going off to work and balancing family and friends and taking care of yourself. There's that stress. And some of that is good stress and some of that is not. The good parts of it is you're engaged. You're living life. You're putting yourself out into the world. And I know a lot of your viewers will have great hopes and great ambitions in their life. And there's that good stress that just gets you up and gets you out in the world. And then there's all that underlying stress of that we just keep inside and inward and we don't express. And you know, my methodology through yoga was to really have people have an experience of what being in their body is, just what that feels like, and listening to it and honoring it. And with more awareness becomes ways that you can eliminate some of that inward stress.
So you say being in their bodies is, so when you're kind of reacting to stress, would you say that people are not in their bodies?
Well, that could happen too. I think a lot of people are just not connected to their physical being. You know, I've had over the years people say to me, well, how am I doing? And my answer always has been, I don't know how you're doing. I can tell you how I'm doing, and you're supposed to tell me how you're doing. And I think they understand that, but practicing it is something else. So I can give you a great example. I was talking about this in a yoga class yesterday. When you're living in your body and you're in touch with how you feel, pretty much on a moment-to-moment basis, which is what mindfulness is about. We want to be aware of where we are in the moment. Everything that you think about and everything that you do has some sort of an effect on how you feel. And if you want to feel good, then you have to kind of be listening to the shifts that's going on. One of the best things you could do is just check in with yourself. How am I doing right now in this moment? How am I doing? You're in a meeting. Got a lot of people. You're in the middle of a business day. You're getting called from your family. In that moment, before you're reactive, just stop. Listen inward. See what's going on in your body. Check in. Our yoga mat is just an external way of being able to process that out. The real application becomes is how are you practicing yoga when you go back into your life and handle stress? I have a saying with my students, leave it on the mat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just leave it on the mat. Leave it on the mat. Go back into your life. It's a process of inquiry that takes some time to develop, and the best way in is through that mat, for sure.
Mm-hmm. So when you turn your focus inward, you're giving yourself feedback, right?
All the time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're eating a food, and the food, you get a reaction from the food. It gives you heartburn, or it gives you acid indigestion, or hours later you get a tummy ache. Clearly, you're listening to your body, and if your body is saying, that food does not work for me. Maybe I should eliminate that from my diet for a while. You know, there's the awakening just to that, to be awake and to know that, oh, okay, I'm going to set that aside for a while. That is what we cultivate on the mat, the ability to be able to really listen to what's going on. I'm sure people know that we're meant to breathe fully, expand your body, breathe from your belly. Those are pieces that are critical, but that listening factor helps you to, in that moment that you're experiencing, just stop, listen. Where is it holding in my body? Why am I off balance? Why am I stressed? Ask yourself these questions.
Mm-hmm. So our thoughts, it can be similar to what you're saying about food. Our thoughts can create a reaction within us the same way. Like the thought is food for our brain or our mind, right?
Every thought we think has a corresponding spot somewhere in our body. And that's powerful.
Yeah.
Just think about that. Everything we think, and you know, thought doesn't discriminate whether it's a good thought or a bad thought. So if you tell yourself you're stressed, you're stressed. That's just the way it is. And even by repeating it over and over again, you're just telling your body that you're stressed. So an easy way, a quick way, is to change that thought, even under stressful situations. Change that thought to, I am releasing, I am releasing, I am releasing. It's the same thought. It's a different way that you approach that thought. You could either own it or dispel it. And that happens all the time with our bodies. That happens with our mind. Everything we think lands into our body. Everything we do to our body has a correlation to our mind as well. That's why you feel so good after you've done something physical. that all that energy has been cultivated.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any difference after a while what you do. My path is yoga, but it doesn't really make any difference what you do. As long as you're just, moving, and you're letting that go, and you're listening as you're moving to that, wonderful dance that you do between your body and your mind.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You mentioned something about layers of stress. So you mentioned outer stress. What else? What else can you say about that?
People walking around all the time with their shoulders up to here, right? This is it. They're just walking around. I mean,
Is
there's
that normal?
no, Karen, it's not normal. No. It's just, I've been doing this for so long that I can, look at somebody's body and I can tell you what's going on inside of it. And it's very interesting at cocktail parties. I just know what's happening in somebody's body by looking at it. And unfortunately, all of this technology, I'm seeing a lot of people just kind of round over. Everybody's head is down and their spines. Chiropractors and yoga instructors like myself are having a field day just trying to get people all lifted up again and opening themselves up. And of course, the more open you are, just in general, the more open you are, the more you are letting life in, which means that that's the potential for more stress. So it's kind of a catch-22. You want to be open, but when that stress hits you, you want to be able to have, the tools to just deal with it. So let me go through a few things with you that aren't just the application of it, because it's one thing to know it, it's another thing to actually put it into practice.
Yes.
Look at your life in general and just see what's not working. And that's very hard. I know it's been challenging for me at any given stage of life. If something's not working, you want to release it. You want to let it go. It could be a person, it could be a situation, it could be an event, it could be a job, it could be anything. Just let it, start the process of letting it go. And the best way that you can know if something's working or not is asking if it's bringing you happiness. And if it's not bringing happiness, it doesn't belong in your life. True?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Too often, I think we stay where we are. We hold on to something because we're afraid of what's going to be there in its place. We're afraid of the unknown.
Yes, Krishnamurti used to talk about that all the time, stepping into the unknown and what that is. But listen, in this world that we're living right now, there is a lot of uncertainty. So in a way, we're all kind of in the unknown, willingly and unwillingly.
Mm-hmm.
But if something doesn't make you feel really good, your body, your mind, your spirit is saying, this is not working for me. And lovingly just let it off into the world. Another little quick stress tip for all your viewers is learn to say no. That's an invaluable skill in life. There are things that, if you're in the householder stage of life and you've got a family and aging parents and children, you're going to have to let go of something somewhere along the line. Take a moment and really really discern what's valuable and what's important to you, and the things that aren't have no place in your life. That releases all that outer stress. It takes the pressure off. My love of yoga, I think, is fairly obvious, but unless you're doing something every day to put your body into motion on some level, just to be moving, things get stuck. They just get stuck in there. And we know enough about the body to know when things get stuck or they get out of alignment, or there's distress or dis-ease, then you have problems. So if we just keep moving, just move, do the traditional things. If you're going to the mall, park 2 blocks away and you could walk there. If if you could bike or walk, get out of your cars and do that. I'm in Southern California, so we have an outdoor life. There's a lot going on outdoors. We want to be outdoors. You want to take in all that fresh air and just be one with nature. Yeah. Another thing that's really important in line with the movement, and this is really healthy to do this. Make sure, and guys, if you're listening, this is for you too, not just for the ladies. Cry when you have to. It's good for you. Crying is okay. Just let it out. A good cry clears your eyes, good for the complexion, kind of just, especially the deep crying is really good for you. Just get it all out and then move on. Mm-hmm. It's extremely therapeutic. And I include the men too, because men haven't really been programmed that way, but I think we're moving into a new era. Thank you, Me Too movement. I think men are feeling more comfortable being in their vulnerable self. So you have permission from me to cry as well. And let go of some of that outer stress that we just cling to and we hold on.
Yeah, good. Let's take a moment, if you would, to connect for our viewers stress and how it affects your energy.
Well, this is the good part of stress. If you're doing those things, if you're, focusing on your breath, if you're making time for movement, if you're, giving yourself a release, from time to time, if you need a good cry, if you've got good people around you, good friends and a good support system, it's really important to have a community and a place to talk. You're giving yourself just permission to have a forum, a incorrect way of putting it, a toolkit. It's the best thing I can come up with, a toolkit to manage everyday life. Did that answer your question or not?
Well, it answers my question, but I think I just want to make sure that our viewers understand about, like, let's say, they feel tired all the time. And, I want to make sure they understand how stress is creating that. Or what if you, focus inward and begin to be more aware of what your body's telling you and start shifting your thoughts and how they might feel energetically from that.
Well, I think your energy is going to be great, because energy, first of all, there's energy in everything. We understand and we know that. So energy is that in Sanskrit, it's that prana, it's that force inside of you. And if you are just, allowing yourself to live life, then you are literally giving yourself permission to have an energetic. There are people who are much more, it's not even low key, it's just, they're just disconnected. That's the best way to put it. So the pathway is stirring up all that emotion inside of you and having a purpose to get up every day. I mean, if you're not excited about living your life, and if you're just feeling stagnant, then obviously you're not going to have any energy. So if you've got to find what's your drive in life. What is going to give you the juice? So maybe that's the key. Maybe all the other stuff are just the steps, but you have to have a passion about life. You can't be sitting and waiting for life to happen to you. And I know that's an issue for a lot of people. I know a lot of people don't feel that they've connected to that purpose of why they're here. And that's a whole inquiry that has to be done. And there's no age limit on that. People can start asking that question at any given time. But I believe every one of us has a purpose. Yeah. I think Spirit created each one of us in its image to go forth and be that version of yourself that you're meant to be. With my students and my clients, I go inward for that. I don't seek that out in the outer world. I know enough that external things, I love beautiful things, don't misunderstand me, but external things don't bring you to your purpose. They satisfy you temporarily, and they give you that little quick fix of happiness. But the real work is going deep inside and saying, okay, use me for anything, but let me be of service for something. And I don't even think it really makes any difference what it is you do, as long as you're passionate about it. And if you're passionate about something and you happen to be good at it, I have undying respect that you're in alignment with who you are. And I mean, that's a beautiful thing to see in people. And I think in that knowingness, there's less stress in life, because you kind of just know, this is why I'm here. This is why I'm doing this. Yes, of course. Listen, I'm in Southern California, as I said. I deal with traffic all the time. So my car is my Zendo sometimes. I just have to go into a space of, this is my vehicle that I'm traveling in right now. This is life, but life is good. I just happen to be in a traffic jam right now. And I'm not going to let this take over me. I'm just going to be present. I'm going to chill. I'm going to keep my body open, present. I'm going to breathe. Might hit that Bluetooth button and call my best friend back east. I'm just going to slide into this. Or you could just have a complete meltdown, which happens, as you know, frequently with people. Where are you? What part of the country?
I live just outside of DC.
You're outside of DC. So you've got a lot of people who are affected by a very cold winter, right? So they're indoors a lot. Right?
Yeah.
They're indoors. And when you're indoors during cold weather, there's a tendency to do two things. What do you think those things are?
Eat.
Right. And sleep. The second thing?
Sleep.
TV, right?
Television. Yeah, I
right?
get
TV and eating. So, and then you're stressed because you're indoors. And you're ready to go out into life, and you're indoors. And that's a stressful situation. You've got a lot of work to get into, to get dressed, to get out the door and go do your day-to-day things. That could be very stressful. But if you're purpose-driven and you know why you're here, you know what's going on in your life, you've got things fairly handled, it's going to be another day in the park for you. It just depends on how you want to see it.
It does bring a certain level of trust and faith when you live life purposefully.
Yes, absolutely. And people have to do the work to find out what that is. That I don't think that comes necessarily with a light bulb moment. It could. It has happened to people.
Yes, right.
Yeah, but
right. Let's see. We have about 5 minutes left, so I want to make sure we have time to cover any important points that you wanted to make sure to mention?
No, I just think all those things that I talked about, the practicality of moving your body and breathing and having good people around you and finding your purpose in life, just owning, your physical presence, be the best version of yourself that you could be. Identify if there's something really going on inside of you that you might need some counsel or coaching on. That's always a good step too. Sometimes you can't figure out things. It's why you want people in your life to help support you. It's a good thing to do that. And all the small things in life that we talk about that stress us, let all those things go. Just let the small stuff go. We know it. We understand it. Let's embrace it. And the big things are the things and the challenges that you have to work on in your life that you've created and manifested to have the life that you're meant to live. So I'd like to offer a tape, one of my meditation tapes for free, if you just chip in some shipping and handling. You could go to my website at innerfitness.com. And I'm available remotely to work with people. Of course, you can't have me in person if you live in another state, but that's okay. We have modern technology, and I can work with you via technology. And anything around stress and making your lives more powerful for you to fully express who you are. That's my purpose. It's why I'm here. It's why I've been doing it all these years. And life is good.
Great. Well, thanks so much for being with us today.
All right, Karen. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Stay
you.
warm if you can.
Well, I'm trying. I don't really like the cold. Spring's coming. It's just around the corner.
It's right around the corner. Take care.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. See you later.
Bye.
Thanks for being here.